Welcome to Headline Hub Updates. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. October 21st, 2025. The world wakes up to a day that will be etched in maritime history. The clock ticks ominously as events unfold in the heart of the West Philippine Sea, a region already simmering with unresolved disputes and national pride. News channels across continents flash urgent alerts, interrupting regular programming. Headlines scream of a crisis escalating at sea, and anchors scramble to provide updates as the situation rapidly develops. Near Ayungin Shoal, a Philippine Coast Guard vessel finds itself encircled by a formidable armada of Chinese maritime militia boats. The blockade is tight, calculated, and unmistakably hostile, leaving the Philippine crew isolated and under immense pressure. Suddenly, a Chinese Coast Guard ship unleashes a torrent of water from its powerful cannon, slamming into the smaller Philippine vessel. The force of the blast rocks the ship, damaging equipment and injuring crew members, an unmistakable act of aggression deep within Manila's exclusive economic zone. Around the globe, millions watch live footage of the maritime confrontation. Social media explodes with real-time updates, and families in the Philippines anxiously await news of their loved ones at sea. The world holds its breath as the dispute between Manila and Beijing threatens to erupt into open conflict. China's dominance in the South China Sea is enforced daily by a relentless presence of naval, coast guard, and militia vessels. Filipino fishermen, who have relied on these waters for generations, are harassed and blocked from accessing vital fishing grounds, their livelihoods hanging in the balance. Each water cannon blast is more than just a show of force. It's a chilling message. This sea is ours, and not even international law will shield you. The Filipino crew, battered but resolute, refuse to back down, embodying the nation's determination. In Manila, the government is thrown into crisis mode. Lawmakers and defense officials scramble to coordinate a response, holding emergency meetings late into the night. The stakes have never been higher. In a bold move, the government enacts the Philippine Maritime Zones Act and unveils a new map, clearly defining its maritime territory under international law. This decisive action is a direct response to Beijing's aggression, signaling Manila's resolve to defend its sovereignty. The world takes notice. Allies such as the United States, Japan, and Australia swiftly condemn China's actions. Joint naval exercises are ramped up, with warships sailing in tight formation, a powerful display of solidarity and a warning that Manila is not alone. Yet the question remains, will these gestures and shows of force be enough to deter a nation intent on redrawing Asia's map? Experts debate the risks of escalation and the fragile balance of power in the region. The standoff has become a critical test for international law, regional alliances, and the future balance of power in the Indo-Pacific. The world watches, knowing that what happens next could reshape the region for generations to come. China's sweeping claim over the South China Sea is marked by a U-shaped line on its maps, first appearing in 1947 as the 11-dash line. After 1949, it became the infamous 9-dash line, supposedly rooted in centuries of Chinese activity. Beijing cites ancient texts and artifacts as proof of historic rights, teaching this narrative in schools and promoting it globally. But these claims lack concrete evidence under international law and don't align with UNCLOS, which China ratified in 1996. The 9-dash line cuts across the exclusive economic zones of the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Brunei. In 2023, China added a 10th dash east of Taiwan, escalating tensions and reinforcing its ambitions. The ever-shifting line is a symbol of China's drive to dominate the region, based on selective history, not modern law. In 2013, the Philippines made a bold move by taking China to arbitration under the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS. This was a significant step in a long-standing maritime dispute in the South China Sea. The Philippines sought to clarify its maritime rights and directly challenge China's sweeping 9-dash line claim, which covers vast areas of the South China Sea and overlaps with the Philippines' own exclusive economic zone. Despite being invited, China refused to participate in the proceedings, insisting it had indisputable sovereignty. Nevertheless, the case moved forward at The Hague without China's presence. The tribunal carefully examined extensive evidence, including historical records, legal arguments, and maritime maps. Ultimately, it found that China's claim to historic rights was incompatible with UNCLOS and international law. On July 12, 2016, the tribunal issued its landmark ruling. China has no legal basis for historic rights within the Nine-Line, a decision that reverberated across the region and the world. The tribunal also declared that features like Ayungin Shoal and other maritime formations are part of the Philippines' exclusive economic zone, granting the country sovereign rights over these waters. The ruling affirmed the Philippines' rights to fish, explore for oil and gas, and exploit other resources in these areas, strengthening its legal position and economic prospects. Internationally, the award was hailed as a triumph for the rule of law and a victory for smaller nations. It provided Southeast Asian countries with a legal foundation to push back against China's maritime expansion. China, however, rejected the ruling outright and has since intensified its activities in the disputed waters. Still, the award remains a powerful diplomatic tool for Manila and its allies. To this day, it stands as a constant reminder that international law is on the Philippines' side, and that legal principles matter in the ongoing struggle for the South China Sea. In response to China's defiance, the Philippines enacted the Maritime Zones Act, officially defining its maritime entitlements under international law. The law harmonizes Philippine domestic law with UNCLOS, replacing outdated frameworks and clarifying territorial boundaries. It adopts UNCLOS principles, allowing the Philippines to claim a territorial sea, contiguous zone, exclusive economic zone, and continental shelf. The act is a strategic response to China's legal warfare, reinforcing rights the Philippines already possesses. It empowers government agencies to enforce laws and manage resources within these zones. The message is clear. The Philippines draws its lines based on international law, not ambiguous history. The Maritime Zones Act is a landmark piece of legislation that defines the Philippines' maritime zones with legal precision and clarity. This law is crucial for establishing the country's rights and responsibilities over its surrounding waters, ensuring that the Philippines can effectively manage and protect its vast maritime domain. The territorial sea, as defined by the Act, extends 12 nautical miles from the country's baselines. Within this area, the Philippines exercises full sovereignty, just as it does on land. This means the government has complete authority over the airspace, water, seabed, and subsoil, allowing it to enforce laws, regulate activities, and safeguard national interests. Beyond the territorial sea lies the contiguous zone, which stretches another 12 nautical miles outward. In this zone, the Philippines has the right to take action to prevent and punish violations of customs, fiscal, immigration, and sanitary laws. This helps protect the country from illegal activities such as smuggling, unauthorized entry, and environmental violations. The Exclusive Economic Zone, or EEZ, extends up to 200 nautical miles from the baselines. Within the EEZ, the Philippines enjoys sovereign rights to explore, exploit, conserve, and manage natural resources, both living and non-living, found in the water column and on the seabed. This includes fishing, energy production, and mineral extraction. The EEZ is especially significant because it is where most Chinese incursions and confrontations occur, particularly in the West Philippine Sea. These incidents highlight the importance of strong enforcement to protect the Philippines' economic interests and national security. The continental shelf, which includes the seabed and subsoil beyond the territorial sea, grants the Philippines exclusive rights to explore and exploit mineral and other non-living resources. This area is vital for scientific research and the development of offshore energy resources. In special areas like the Philippine Rise, also known as Benham Rise, the continental shelf extends even further, offering additional opportunities for resource exploration and scientific discovery. By clearly defining these maritime zones, the Maritime Zones Act provides the Philippines with the legal framework and tools needed to govern, protect, and secure its seas for present and future generations. Central to the Philippines case is the 1734 Murillo Velarde map, created by Spanish Jesuit Pedro Murillo Velarde and Filipino artists. This map, known as the mother of all Philippine maps, was key evidence at The Hague. It labels Scarborough Shoal as Panacot, part of Zambales, showing it as Philippine territory long before China's claims. The map was widely recognized by European cartographers, reinforcing its authority. In contrast, Chinese maps from the same era end at Hainan Island, never including Scarborough Shoal or the Spratlys. The map's presentation at The Hague transformed it into a potent legal weapon. The tribunal's award, while not ruling on sovereignty, acknowledged the weight of such historical evidence. The West Philippine Sea dispute is a clash of narratives. China claims historic rights based on ancient activity, but international law distinguishes between private use and state administration. Chinese maps for centuries ended at Hainan Island. Claims to the Spratlys and Scarborough Shoal only emerged in the 20th century. The Philippines, by contrast, presents verifiable documentation, like the Murillo-Velarde map, and bases its claims on UNCLOS. The 2016 tribunal found China's historic rights claim legally baseless and superseded by UNCLOS. The Philippines' case is grounded in law and recognized history. China's is built on a constructed narrative, unsupported by its own cartographic record. The contrast is clear: right versus might, law versus selective history. The Maritime Zones Act and new official map are Manila's direct response to China's 10-dash line. When China released its 2023 map, the Philippines answered with law, not just protest. The act provides a clear, UNCLOS-compliant basis for diplomatic and legal action. Now, when Chinese vessels enter the Philippine EEZ, Manila can cite both international and domestic law. This empowers the Navy and Coast Guard to act with authority and clarity. It also strengthens the Philippines' position in international forums and negotiations. The law is a form of peaceful resistance, using legal warfare to counter China's three warfares strategy. By codifying its entitlements, the Philippines defends not just territory, but the principle that right, not might, should govern the seas. The Maritime Zones Act and official map mark a turning point in the Philippines' defense of its rights in the West Philippine Sea. By rooting its claims in UNCLOS and the 2016 arbitral award, the Philippines shifts the debate from history to law. This clarity empowers the Coast Guard and Navy, ensuring their actions are lawful and legitimate. The strategy reinforces sovereignty and supports a rules-based international order. It sends a message: international law matters, and small nations can stand up to powerful ones. While challenges remain, these actions lay the groundwork for stronger diplomacy, alliances, and deterrence. The Philippines proves that legal right, not military might, is its strongest weapon in defending sovereignty.